Welcome back to the neighborhood, boys and girls. Our next guest is Taryn Bolton from KW in Medford.
Yes.
Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I always start off the same way. I am interested in what people did before they got into the real estate industry, because that kind of tells the story where you came from and how things started for you. Then we talk a little bit about real estate. So give us a little history before real estate, Taryn. Where were you at, and what are some of the jobs you've done before getting into this?
Boy. Okay. Well, not to age myself, but
Okay.
I started out I went to nursing school straight from college.
Okay.
And then from there, I ended up working in a bank. I didn't finish school. Worked in a bank, got into the mortgage business.
Okay.
I did the mortgage business for about 9 years. And then the opportunity presented itself for me to go to nursing school. So I moved back to Jersey, went to nursing school, did nursing for 14 years. I worked for an insurance company for the past 10. I just left. My last day was July 1st.
Okay.
So now I'm a full-time agent.
Full-time.
Keller Williams.
Okay.
And here I am. I got my real estate license in 2016.
Okay.
But previously, when I was working in the mortgage business, I had taken the exam or the course, and I never took the state test for Virginia to get my real estate license.
All right.
So it's always been a passion of mine, but I finally found the opportunity in 2016.
Nice. And what was the breaking point that was like, I'm doing this part-time and I'm kind of messing around with it too, I'm going full force and going full-time back into real estate?
Well, my husband's a contractor.
Okay.
So it almost kind of made sense for me to get back into it.
Sure.
So that we can work together. Mm-hmm. So that was pretty much my driving force.
Nice. And do you find yourself gravitating towards a certain type of client, a certain customer? Are you more first-time home buyers? Are you more step-up persons? Are you more investor that's going to buy and hold or flip?
I've done a lot of first-time home buyers more so than anything.
Yeah. And
I've done some on the seller side.
Sure.
But most of my clients have been first-time home buyers.
Is that what you enjoy, or has that kind of just been how it's worked out?
It's how it's worked out, but actually it's kind of fun to see the light in their eyes when they move into their first home.
Sure.
Yeah.
Especially someone who, my favorite ones are someone who, when I talk to them, they start off with, you're never going to be able to get me approved.
Right.
Or, listen, I talked to 2 other people and I can't do this, so you're just going to hurt my feelings again or something. And figuring out how to get them approved is always like a huge thing. I'm like, sweet, let's go. Especially going through either the walkthrough or the actual closing, when they're signing the paperwork and you can see in their face like, oh, this is real. Mm-hmm. Then they get handed the keys and it's like, oh, I really can't buy a house. And
encouraging them after they've looked after house after house after house and still haven't found their house. I'm like, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
We'll find it. Trust me. We'll find it.
Have you had same thing, going to look at house after house after house and losing offers, like putting bid in after bid?
We've been
and
outbid on multiple offers.
Yeah.
Especially in the past couple of years with COVID and it being a seller's market. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
How do you handle that? How do you communicate with someone to have them not give up or not say, forget it, I'm going to rent for a little bit?
I just have to keep telling them, listen, we can do this. That wasn't your house.
Yeah.
When we find your house, it'll be your house.
Nice.
That was not your house.
Okay. What are some of your, everybody has goals. What are some of your goals for the next couple years? What are you looking forward to accomplish? What are we going to see Taryn do in 2023 and 2024?
I will be doing investments of my own.
Okay.
So my husband and I have already started, so that will be expanding.
Okay. Flip properties or buy and hold rentals?
Both.
Okay. All right. Any specific area, or you're just looking?
No.
No? How many projects do you have going right now?
We have one going right now.
Okay.
And we're looking into a couple others.
Okay.
I also want to get into some Airbnbs.
Okay. I love Airbnbs.
Yeah.
There. My only fear with the Airbnbs, I don't want to say this out loud because everyone's going to I'm in a group where we talk about Airbnbs. My only fear is if the economy gets rough for a short period of time, the first thing people cut out is their vacations, you know? So I have a little bit of fear if I'm injected with truth serum that I love the Airbnb over the over the long-term rentals.
Right.
I'm not really good. I've talked about it a couple times on here. I had at one point in time 11 rental properties, and I suck as a landlord.
That's why you have property management.
Yeah, I know. Now
I'll give you my card.
Back when I did it, I haven't had any for like 10 years. There wasn't really property manager, at least not for single family homes. You know, property managers were like 30-unit properties or whatever, and I'm horrible. I'm way too nice. People are like, oh, I was going to pay the rent, but my son fell and broke his arm. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll catch up in the middle of the month, and then 6 people are not paying, and I wind up in court, and court doesn't like landlords.
You need me to come knock on their door.
I'm telling you, I did need that, you know. But the Airbnb stuff I like, and I love the idea of the large multifamily property, you know, a 30-unit, a 60-unit kind of property. That's where you make
ideal.
your real,
Absolutely.
Yeah, where you make your real money. It's tough to do around here, you know, because there isn't a lot of large ones. But you go into
the most you might find
cities.
is maybe a 4 or 6.
Right. In Camden County, Gloucester County, you're finding that. If you go over into Philly and you're looking for a 30-unit property, so are 100 other people, you know. So it's a little tough to get to. All right, so that's your short-term goal. What about real estate? Are you looking to eventually mentor some people, grow a team, or is this kind of just like a means to an end thing?
I actually would like to get my broker's license.
Okay. Yeah. And that's 5 years that we have to wait? 5 years?
I believe it's 2 or 3 years.
Okay. I'm not sure. I know it's a little bit of time, and then you have to do a certain amount of transactions and go through it. All right. Awesome.
But broker's license is coming next.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so now we're going to ask your personal question.
Okay.
If you could sit down and interview any person, alive or dead, throughout history, it could be 1,000 years ago, or it could be 2 years ago, or alive now, who would be the person that you would want to sit down and spend a half an hour with, and what would be the first question you would ask them?
Off the top of my head, I would want to sit down with Jay-Z.
Okay.
And find out how he made his billions.
Find out how he made his billions?
Yes.
Find out if he really was a drug dealer and that's how it all got started, or?
No, I mean beyond that.
Beyond that. I would want to know how he got the idea for the beats, because that's where he made all his money was the beats.
Absolutely.
You know, it's good to be a musician, but how did he really come up with that? Because that was his big money thing. So that's a good interview. Awesome.
Jay-Z, definitely.
Taryn, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with the next guest on Mr. Mortgage's Neighborhood.